Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Adam.
Welcome, Benjamin.
Thank you, guys.
Benjamin? Who's
Nice
Benjamin?
to be here.
So I suppose last episode we talked about why people and talent and all those things and why they're sort of so important. And today I suppose you're going to see that in action, where we've decided to kind of open up so you can understand a little bit more about Juno. And as part of that, and particularly around the people sort of part, we thought we would bring on one of our amazing staff members, Ben, to come in, have a bit of a chat and have a bit of an understand, not just from our point of view, but from sort of Ben's point of view.
Yeah, I think in the last episode we talked about the importance of people. At Juno, we really focus on the impact that people have in a business. And when we're talking about businesses growing and the growth of a business, we start with people. They probably become the most important focus for us. So we thought, what better way to showcase how important people are than showcase our own people. So we're really excited to welcome Ben today. So Ben, this is all about you.
Here I am.
So today we just wanted to go through, get to know you a little bit, or get everyone else to know you a little bit more. So today's around unpacking who you are, a bit of your career background, why Juno, and we're going to talk a little bit about success stories that you've had with the Juno clients. So let's talk a little bit about your career background. Who are you and what have you done in your life?
Yeah, sure. Well, Shaz, Adam, I'm Ben. Look, it's been 2 years now with Juno.
Anniversary this week. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, so it's been a ride. A bit about me. So I think when I started my career, I didn't particularly have a plan. But I've dug deep and I've worked hard and I've earned my stripes. And through that time, I've had some different experiences. So I've worked across sales and marketing roles. I've worked in operational roles. I've worked on strategy and planning type roles, primarily in FMCG, in retail, but more recently founder-led businesses.
And big companies in retail, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So within FMCG, I worked for Coke for over 15 years. Yeah. I've worked with the Kmart Group, with Target specifically. And then I've worked with some founder-led businesses, literally working in there, running the businesses.
Yeah, so similar to what we do, we talk about that outsourced GM, CEO, COO type role. Those founder-led businesses that you were in, that's the type of work that you did, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Ground-up type of support.
Yeah, so working with the founder, putting in process, putting in foundations, looking at people, looking at systems, looking at business plans and strategy and all of those types of things.
Yeah, I think I've always been highly operational in roles, and I think that's been a nice legacy piece moving into founder-led business, to be able to go in there. There's not much you don't experience when you've got quite a diverse career. So I enjoy it.
Yeah,
with the sort of the founder-led businesses, I mean, as a founder myself, but really working with other founder-led businesses, it's very different to large corporate. It's more complicated. It's, a little bit more sort of push it and we'll see, as opposed to having these really sort of structured kind of growth metrics and growth paths. And I suppose making that transition from the larger corporate that has a lot of capability within the business, it's got all the different sections that allows you and helps you, making that switch into founder-led businesses. What sort of surprised you?
Oh, I think the problems are always the same, so regardless of whether or not you win a big business or a small business, the challenges that founders face are literally the same. It's, do I have the right systems? Do I have the right processes? Do I have the right people in place to be able to scale? I think what I've done really well in my career so far is be able to bring the right people to the table at the right time. Yeah. So the solution hasn't always sat with myself. Yeah. It's been about making sure that I draw on the experience that I've got and bring that to life.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we often talk about here at Juno is being able to take that strategic advice that we give people or that we've had in previous businesses and actually be able to embed that into a business.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think when you come from that type of background that you've come from, the ability to understand what the strategic vision looks like, but be able to take that and go, I'm going to actually work with a business and embed and implement on that, which is what Juno is all about. I think when we look at your background, we go, it's a great background to take all of that corporate knowledge and then be able to go, I'm going to be able to use all of that and help this SME space.
And I think one of the and something to note is, obviously at Juno we take internally the people that we bring on to join us super seriously. We spend a lot of time and a lot of investment in that kind of area. And I think, we sort of say, when we bring a person on board for us, we make sure that we spend the time to make sure that they've got the background and expertise that we're looking for. And Ben is actually one of 1,400 applicants. We picked Ben out of that. And that's a massive kudos to him, but really kind of that expertise and that experience, but more around that ability for him to demonstrate, obviously 2 years ago now, his ability to go into a business and operationally implement the change required to get the business to sort of grow and to scale. I mean, that's what stood out for both of us. And I mean, when you've got so many applicants wanting the job and you've got so many people to talk to, you're talking to a huge amount of great people. But Ben really stood out for us, particularly around, and there's a with all of us here, there's a real kind of steady hand as well. And I think, once, you sort of meet all of us, you understand that it's hugely, lots of experience, lots of expertise, lots of ability to enact the change in businesses, but with that real kind of compassion and steady hand that I think Juno's starting to get known for.
Yeah, agree. I guess on that, Ben, what attracted you to Juno?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Be nice.
We did meet over a beer.
We did. We did.
I think it was a ginger beer, wasn't it?
It was a ginger beer, yeah. Look, I think for me, I've always had a bit of an itch. I've worked in big corporate. When I moved down to Melbourne, I had an aspiration to work for a small to medium enterprise. I've done that, so I've run the businesses, and I think the appealing part around Juno was more about being able to come in and solve problems. Yeah, take all the lessons that I've learnt and be able to kind of support a business owner. And I like you guys too.
Oh, we like you too.
Great. And I think to Adam's point, we knew right from the start, and I think that's when we look back in terms of the reflection on the recruitment process, and I think that this is a real lesson for businesses, is to really take the time. We often talk about, hiring slow and firing fast, and we really took the time and effort to make sure that we found the person that we thought would really work in this business.
And I think we always hear this, and Ben, you would also hear this as well with your clients. I just got a feeling, like a gut, a vibe, and I say that as well. It's funny because that's okay as long as you've gone through the whole recruitment process and got 4 or 5 people that can actually do the job really well. So you're not trying to go, is this person actually going to do the job well? Can this person do the job? You've got, these are 5 excellent people. That's when I think you use your gut and your vibe and your instinct to go, this person probably just fits us and suits us a little bit better. And I always say through the process is, as much as we say it's all about us, it's also got to be all about the person, like Ben going, do I trust these random people? Are these people, are these the people that are going to, that are going to support my growth the way that I need to? So it's that really two-way street. And I think that's where people, I think, forget about, they see 5 people right at the start. They have one meeting and they go, I think I like this person. Where we go, we went through quite a few processes, lots of meetings, and all the way down to, I think we had 2 or 3 at the end. And we probably had a connection right back at the start, but it took until we got all the way down to that process to go, Ben's our guy.
You liked me.
We did like it.
And now we love you.
And it was, it's a huge thing. That was the first, true, real hire that we'd kind of done together, which was putting together a whole bunch of, experiences that Sharon and I had, and going, we need to obviously, like a lot of our businesses, go through that first traditional hire. And we took the time, we took the effort, and I think we did a really good job. And yeah.
I think being in Juno for a little while now. What I really enjoy is we don't deliver a shiny, bright strategic plan. We actually get our sleeves rolled up, or don't wear sleeves, and just get stuff done. So I think in this role you get the variety every single day, and I learn stuff too. So I've come from a background predominantly in FMCG retail, e-commerce, and then founder-led businesses, but I'm learning stuff about different industries all the time.
Yeah. And when we talk about the recruitment into Juno, and I think one of our USPs is around the collective expertise that we have. So when we think about you, Ben, and we go, what's your area of expertise, superpower, call it whatever you will, how would you describe that?
Superpower. Yeah. Jeez, I've been asked this a few times in my career. Look, I'm just Ben, and I think I pride myself on...
You're not just Ben, you're more than just Ben.
Yeah, thanks.
Totally.
I think I pride myself on, being relatively easygoing. I don't take life too seriously, but I'm also in the detail. I love to be planned. I love to always be able to bring the right people to the conversation at the right time. I don't have all the answers all the time. But I think through my career, I've been able to do that really well, and I think I care.
Yeah.
I think that's when people, the feedback that I get when I'm out and about is great people. It seems like you look like you've got a really great relationship fund, but you actually care. I was going to say something else. You actually give a shit, but
I do give a shit.
We actually give a shit. But there's a real, it's like there's an empathy that you need to have, particularly with dealing with founders, business owners, and to be honest, it's not just the small and medium businesses, even our larger businesses, to understand that, at that sort of, or the end of the market that we play in, it's peaks and troughs, right? Like it's ups and downs. It's particularly with the smaller and medium-sized businesses, there is a personal element that impacts the business. So, if you're going through some things in your personal life, that does get brought to work. It's very easy to say it shouldn't, but I mean, how do you not? It comes with that. And so the support of those people at work, and if we look at it and we say, our collective, intelligence or the friendship that we have to support one another is a huge thing, and it's something that Sharon and I have talked about, and make sure that stays at the height of our priorities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ben, tell us a little bit about you personally that you're willing to share.
Willing to share.
Don't share it all, okay?
Look, we've been in Melbourne for 7 years. I was a bit apprehensive for moving to Melbourne, but I'm very fond. I've fallen in love with Melbourne. So a typical weekend for me would be maybe a farmer's market, spending time out on adventures in Melbourne. I've got a wonderful dog, Farnham, that everyone's heard about, and a great partner in life, Chris. We're thick as thieves, so we enjoy a beer on the weekend, and we play hard, but we also work hard.
Yeah.
Good one.
It's great. And I think today is around unpacking. We've talked about a bit of your background and your superpower. I want to talk a little bit about how we relate that to a client.
Sure.
You've got a wonderful breadth of clients. So just talk to us a little bit about a client success story that you've had and how you've sort of brought all of your expertise into that to get an outcome.
Yeah, I think that when we start with clients with the best of intent, we try and find a balance between where alignment sits. And I think more recently, as I've started to spend a bit more time with some clients, that misalignment can creep in. So making sure that the owners of a business always are aligned to a certain degree is really important. Yeah. So I think more recently I've had some clients that perhaps started with a very clear vision, and due to conflicting priorities, that vision may have changed slightly. So it's about trying to get them back on track. And I think the work that you do is just to be very clear around, how you see these clients building out their priorities for the next kind of 12 to 18 months, and making sure that everyone's on that train.
It's funny you say that the change, and we sort of, our average client tenure is around 3 years, so we actually go through with our clients quite an extended period of time, and some are more than that actually. And what was the goal doesn't necessarily
Absolutely.
mean that's what the goal is now, and that's really complicated particularly from a partnership alignment perspective, because some partners don't have as good a communication as probably we would like to see, and that happens in all aspects of life, right? But it takes a sort of a steady hand to have some of those more challenging conversations and take what could be, and I wouldn't say totally misaligned, right?
No.
Like they're slightly misaligned, but that makes it difficult to set the vision, set the the A to F, set the F, and bring the whole business along that. Because when you've got, and we've probably all experienced this somewhat in our careers, is to go, when you don't have alignment at the top, it's very hard to get everyone underneath aligned on the same vision. And I've personally had that with Juno. It's a difficult thing, but there's a real, I would say, if you've got the right care and you've got the right expertise and you've had those conversations before, like we all have, it's about understanding and identifying that there is the misalignment and then bringing that back together. It doesn't have to be exact. It has to be close enough in order to get the business to move along that journey.
For sure. And I think it's okay for priorities to change and the vision to change. So, we work closely with clients all the time to make sure that we have authentic conversations, we get aligned, and we move forward together.
And what does that look like practically? Is that, and I mean, when we talk about our clients, we talk about seeing them frequently, weekly. It's actually literally getting in there. Yeah. So what does that actually look like?
I think it could look like a number of things, Shaz. I think that, we understand our clients better than anyone because we are frequently part of their business. I think that, it's important that, we understand the motivations that they've got personally, professionally, and making sure we just have really open, candid conversations around what good could look like as we start to move through, that change for them.
Yeah,
and it's not one conversation.
No.
And I mean, this is, and I think people and particularly business owners feel like, things should happen instantly. It's a multitude of conversations, both, I would say, or my experience is both with both parties or all parties involved, and also this individual stuff on the side to make sure that we're setting this framework for everyone to get together and get on the same sort of the journey and the vision. And that's, I think there's a misunderstanding that things should happen faster than they can. But
change takes time.
It does, right?
Yeah.
And it takes consistency. These weekly touch points with our clients really allows us, and I would say most of the time it's not just a weekly touch point, given the emails and the phone calls. And I mean, we've all been there, particularly Ben. But that ability and that ability for us to have the time to do that is the scenario that goes, we can get it all together and bring it and sort of push it back together so that we've got the alignment, which means we can then work on getting the business to sort of follow that.
Yeah, and I think that we have a lot of clients that have multiple partners, multiple owners. And so it's something that we tackle frequently around making sure that those owners, those partners are in fact aligned. So it's something that we do often. It's definitely in our wheelhouse, and I mean, you've got a number of clients that have those multiple partners that you're trying to align.
Yeah, I think it's important also, Shaz, to bring it back to where we started and where we
Correct.
began, and clarify what the initial goals were.
And when you see an outcome, what does that look like in all the work that, the consistency that we have, the weekly touch points, when you're talking about that type of alignment, that sort of alignment with partners, what does a great outcome look like?
I think a great outcome, again, could look like many things. I think that what I have learnt through this role is reflection is key.
Yep.
Quite often you're moving so fast in terms of the stuff that you're working on with a business owner that you actually don't stop and realise how much you've achieved.
Yeah.
So I think that's critical. But I think a great outcome can look like many things. It would look like delivering on the smallest thing one week, or it could be something a little bit more strategic the next.
Yeah.
I mean, just on that, it's funny. It reminds me of a story with one of my clients. One of the things that this particular client wanted to do was have a Friday off.
Yep.
And we were so busy that I completely even forgot to celebrate when when we got to a point that they could have every single Friday off. And it would have been 7 or 8 months after. I was like, oh shit. We've got to kind of, and I totally agree. We move so fast, and because that's part of our role, right? Is to get the business to we're fundamentally growth advisors, really. But, taking that time, and back to your point, one of the things, the takeouts that sort of, we're all talking about now is make sure that we have some points at which we reflect on what we said we were going to do, what's actually happened, and are we still aligned with that? And I think businesses, particularly founder-led businesses, are notorious for not doing that. It's go, 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 go. And part of what we do is, we call it cadence, right? That could be meeting cadence and stuff like this. But really, reflection cadence is one of those things where it's like, okay, and Sharon's incredibly good at this and does that more for Juno, but stop. What did we do? What have we achieved? Are we still going in the right direction? And do we need to change it slightly to better suit what we've decided?
And finding the balance between the growth or the actions within the business, but also what we want to achieve in their personal life. I think to your point, Adam, you talk about having a Friday off, but I've got a client that the noise from home was significant. You sit down and have a conversation to say, why don't you lock in a holiday? And 4 weeks later they do and come back and say, life at home is sound. So making sure that you keep an eye on both parts of that client relationship is really important.
And it sort of goes back to going, personal and professional goals. In the businesses that we work with anyway, they're intertwined. They're two. It's not as simple as saying home is home and work is work, and making sure that alignment sort of comes from both aspects, right? Like it comes from that personal and professional, and then professional, which is what the owners of the business would need to align on.
Yeah, and I think I think about a client that I took on when I first started, where business owners actually never met. So they were running a business but had never really sat down together and talked about what does that look like for both of us. So I think sometimes, and it was actually ended up being quite a challenging conversation that I think perhaps gets avoided rather than tackled.
For sure.
So I think, the alignment piece for us is also making sure that when that happens, we're the ones that can bring that together and go, let's just sit down and let's have the courageous conversation and let's really talk about what you both want out of this. So we're not heading with one hand in one direction and another hand in a different direction.
And I think, by default, you tend to build a relationship maybe a bit stronger with one partner and not always the other. So it's about finding that balance and making sure you stay abreast of both things.
Yeah,
Totally
100% agree.
All right. Whoa. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. This is about you,
didn't tell
Ben.
you about that.
This
Ben,
wasn't
did we?
the brief.
This was not,
Not in the brief. What? Did I
All
delete
right.
that?
Let's do it.
I've got some questions. Rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to mind. Best piece of business advice given?
Time spent planning never goes to waste.
Oh,
Such a
great.
good one.
Such a good one.
Killer. I wish I'd thought of that.
He didn't even have the questions
I know,
either.
it's annoying. Most overrated business buzzword?
Ooh. Most buzzword.
Yeah.
Pass.
Do you want to pick that one up, Shaz?
I'd go authentic.
Oh, good
Authentic.
one.
I really like the word.
I know, it totally gets crushed, doesn't it?
I'm sure we've mentioned authenticity in this podcast.
I know. We might have to edit that, guys.
we'll edit that out. Yeah. Or journey. I think
Journey. Oh, I like that too, but
I like
it is
it, but
overused.
it gets it anyway.
Yeah. Or what about blueprint?
Rapid fire. Coffee order.
Long macchiato.
Nice. This is actually a really good question,
Is it?
Sharon. Yeah. If Juno was a band, what instrument would you play?
Saxophone.
Oh, such a good one. One skill no one knows that you've got.
Well, I would say golf. But,
Is that a skill or is that a
re-emerging.
working skill?
Skill.
Dartboards.
Dart? Oh, yeah, I'm pretty good at darts.
I've seen you play darts.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good skill. And
I've
you
got-
built
I've got
them as well,
plenty
right?
of skills.
Yeah.
Well, any that you do want to share
Yeah,
anymore?
that's it.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Look, great for everyone to meet you, Ben. I think for us, one of the key takeaways is the importance on the people part of a business. I think that one of our unique strengths is that collective intelligence that we bring the ability to drive that back to our clients and having incredible people like you on the team is how we do that. So I think that for us, the importance of getting this right in every business and making sure that you spend the time and effort to get the best people that you can is incredibly important.
Couldn't agree more. And I think that we always say this, it's like, who are we to advise if we don't do it the best ourselves? Now, that's not to say that we do everything the best, but I think we spend a lot of time and effort making sure that we've got the right people. And I mean, you guys don't really hear this about me, but when I talk about Juno Advisory, I don't say we've got good people. I say we've got exceptional people. And everyone goes, oh, what does that mean? I say, it means that we just don't pick people who are good. That's not good enough for us, and nor should it be, right? We pick people, or people pick us, because there's a mutuality there, is to go, they're exceptional. They're exceptional in certain things, and those skill sets and expertise together make an exceptional, what I would consider, Juno advisor. And kudos to you, Ben. You know, you've stuck around. I mean, we have that joke.
These days.
We have that joke where it's like, you know, when someone comes back in for the second day, you're like, oh, they came back. Well, he's come in for the second year, and so yeah, really great. And thank you for sharing your stories with us. It's really good.
Pleasure. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Shaz.
Thank you, Sharon. Should we have a little high five? Yes? High five. Go.